Again with a quick review of the brand new Blink Outdoor 4 security camera. This is the very latest generation of Blink's Wi-Fi connected, battery powered, incredibly flexible outdoor camera, and includes all the features of their previous models with a few interesting upgrades that I think you're going to appreciate. Now, before I get too deep into the specifications behind the camera and all the changes they made, I thought I'd start off with a quick unboxing just to show you everything that's included with the kit, and that way you'll understand exactly what you get if you decide this product is right for you. And then I'll dive into the camera, because I've been using a lot of the Blink products for the last couple of years, and I think Blink has designed an incredibly flexible, really expansive system that's easy to use and does a great job of keeping an eye on certain areas around your home, either inside or outside. So I'll get into all of those features, and along the way, I'll point out a few things that I really like about this system that you can use to compare it to others you may be considering. So let's get started with the unboxing. Now, what I have in front of me is the Blink single camera starter kit. And what I mean by that is it includes a camera and it includes a sync module. Now, if you've already got Blink products installed in your home, you have a sync module already, you can simply add cameras as you'd like to. And the best part is you can mix and match different generations of cameras. So if you want to pick up some of the new Blink Outdoor 4s, you can use them with your existing system. But if you don't have any Blink products in your home, you'll need at least one sync module to get started. And this is what connects to your Wi-Fi network. And then your cameras connect to the sync module. And each sync module can support up to 10 cameras. If you need 11 cameras, just add another sync module. If you need 21 cameras, add a third sync module. I don't know why you'd need 30 cameras around your home unless you're really taking care of the backyard, the front yard, the attic. I don't know why you need 30 cameras, but you can add other sync modules and add more cameras if you need to. But if you have that, you can only just add the cameras and not have to worry about adding sync modules. Anyway, this is the starter kit. So if you're new to the Blink universe, this is a great way to get started because it gives you a single camera and the sync module. All right, so let's talk about the sync module. This is what connects to your Wi-Fi network, and included with the sync module is a power supply. You'll simply plug this into a wall outlet. There's a USB-A port on the end of it. It comes with a cable. You can plug the USB-A end of the cable into this power supply just like this, and then plug it into the wall. The other end of the cable has a micro USB connection on it, which plugs into the sync module and provides all the power you'll need for operation. Now, one little trick you can do is if you plug this in near your media gear, maybe you've got a router or a Wi-Fi point of presence, a lot of those have additional USB-A ports on them that are powered all the time. You can plug this directly into one of those ports. It doesn't draw a lot of current and eliminate the power supply. So for me, I've got a big media center and I've got a couple of Wi-Fi connections there. I'll plug that directly into the router and power this off the router and not need to worry about the power supply. But it's up to you. You can use the power supply. One other thing you'll notice about the sync module is this interesting USB-A port on the side of it. And that's for you sliding a thumb drive in there up to 256 gigabytes, and it allows you to store your information locally. So your videos and your pictures can be stored locally as a backup, in addition to uploading them to the cloud. So you can upload them to the cloud, store them locally, do both if you want. And the advantage of storing them locally is you won't have to worry about a subscription. You can basically just use it, store all the videos and photos here, and review them through the application. I'll get into that subscription in a minute because there's some advantages to that over storing the photos locally. And then we've got the camera. Now the camera itself looks pretty similar to the last generation of outdoor camera, but it's a lot more compact. It's a little bulkier. It's got nice rounded corners on it. I just like the look of it a lot. They've improved quite a few things on the camera, and I'll get into that in a minute. But one thing you're going to notice about the camera is when you take the back off, that's where the two batteries go. So the kit includes the camera, the mounting gear, and 2 lithium batteries. Pop those batteries in the back, close it up, and you're good to go. One other thing you'll notice is a USB-C port right here. Now, this is a bit of a small point, but it really drives me crazy. The micro USB connection is really old. I mean, it's done. There aren't a lot of products that use it anymore. I understand you got to power the sync module with it, but I love the fact that they've upgraded the camera to now use the USB-C connection. And you might be thinking, well, what do I need a USB-C connection for? Well, you have a choice with the outdoor camera to use the batteries, which again will give you about 2 years of use on average, and I'll explain that in a minute. But you can also power this from a solar panel by plugging it directly into the USB-C, and there's a lot of companies, including Blink, that make solar panels. Some make spotlight kits where you can plug it into a spotlight kit, use the USB-C connection. You can also plug it directly into an outlet. If you have an outdoor outlet, you can use the power supply like this, run a cable to it and plug it in. So you can power it from the batteries, power it from a solar panel, power it from AC. Got a lot of choices out there. For me, I like the batteries because if I get close to 2 years of use out of a set of batteries, it means I can move the camera anywhere I want to in my backyard. So for example, in the springtime, we've got a bird feeder outside that we get a ton of birds at. I like to see the birds, so I set the camera on a clamp up near my bird feeder, and I can record beautiful footage of the birds during the summer. In the wintertime, maybe I want to keep an eye on the back end of my yard because deer go through there. I can move it there. I can move it over to where the chipmunks are wrestling. So it's a really flexible system that as long as I'm within Wi-Fi range of the sync module, I can move it anywhere I want to in my yard, which is nice. I can even put it inside the house. A lot of times we're going on vacation and maybe I want a camera in the garage that I don't normally have. I can set it up on a bench or clamp it to a pole in the garage, and I've got complete coverage of my garage. So really nice product. All right, so that's the camera. Here's the mount. They changed the mount a little bit. They made it a little bit wider. I like this mount. It's a lot beefier. 2 holes on it. You can bolt it to a pole. You can stick it on your house. You can screw it into pretty much anything. Concrete, you can drill a hole and put in concrete. Then you get this little adapter. And a lot of people are confused about this adapter. One thing I like about the adapter, and this may be a little secret, is the end of this is the perfect screwdriver to loosen and tighten this back. So you can actually pop it off and use that to tighten up the back. But really what it's designed to do is to give you more motion on the mount. So normally you would snap this on the back of the camera, and then your camera faces out this way, and you've got a limited rotation of the camera. You can actually snap this on here, then snap the camera on the bottom of this, and that gives you a lot more rotation. So you've got a lot more left and right and up and down rotation on it. So between the two of those, you should be able to find the perfect position to have that camera keep an eye on that walkway in the backyard. In addition to that, there are a ton of accessories available that can turn this into a spotlight camera. They can turn it into a camera that clamps on a pole. There are ones that will clamp on your gutter. There are some that will slide under your siding. So there's a lot of different ways to mount this, but I love the fact that they include the mount and that adapter with it. And how nice of them to include your first set of lithium batteries as part of the kit. You can pop these in here, put it up on the mount, and start recording the day you get the kit. So I think they include everything you need, as well as an instruction manual that explains everything you'll need to do to get this thing set up. It could not be simpler. The first thing you're going to do is download the application, set up an account with Blink. You're going to add the sync module. Once you add the sync module, you can scan the code on the back of the cameras. They're automatically added to the sync module. Inside the application, you can see all the cameras around your home. You can tap on the camera. You can start recording video. You can take a picture. You can review footage that's already been recorded. So I think they've done a really excellent job of presenting an easy security system to install in your home that anybody can set up with the flexibility to use the application to review the footage or actually, view the cameras live, whatever you need to do. Another really interesting point is that it works really well with smart speaker systems. So if you've got some of the Amazon products in your home that have video screens on them, like the Echo products or some of the bigger ones, you can actually talk to the smart speaker, tell it to show you the camera, and the image will come right up in that smart speaker. So it's a great system that, again, is expanding every day. It seems like it's expanding in different directions. They have doorbells you can connect up to it that have video on them and a lot of other products. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So let's talk about the camera. The video footage recorded from the camera is 1080p. The best part is it's night and day. Now during the day it does phenomenally well recording footage and taking pictures in 1080p, which is crystal clear. You can read a license plate in your driveway. You can get a real good view of somebody's face. Great job there. It also does a really nice job at night because it's got infrared illuminators built into the camera. And what those do is that at night, what the camera's trying to see is any bit of visible light it can see. And it's got the infrared illuminators, which is like a flashlight that washes the area in infrared light that'll light up an image in that area to give you a much brighter view. So it does a great job during the day and in the evenings. It also does two-way audio. And I like that a lot because I've got one of these on my front porch, and when somebody walks through the area and triggers the motion detection, maybe it's a UPS delivery person, they're dropping a package, I can say, hey Frank, thanks a lot for dropping that package off. I'll get it a little bit later, just put it there on the porch, and I can hear them say, no problem Rick, the package is here, have a great day. So it's great to have that two-way audio, and if somebody's doing something nefarious in my backyard, I can yell at them like, I'm coming out there, you better run. So it gives you that two-way audio. Or if the kids are, I'm getting dangerous here, but if the kids are playing in the backyard, maybe I'm just saying, hey, it's time for dinner, come on inside. Okay, Dad, we're coming in for dinner. So I like the two-way audio. The feature that I like the best, and they've really improved that on the newer version, is motion detection. Now, the last generation and the generation before it had motion detection. The problem with motion detection is it's kind of a balancing act between noticing motion and noticing important motion. Because if you notice every bit of motion in your backyard, it's going to be triggering left and right, recording a lot of stuff that you don't care about. Maybe a squirrel ran through, or a leaf ran through, or a branch moved a little bit and falsely triggered it. The last generation gave you this ability with a grid to set up what are called motion detection zones, where you can zero in on the area that you want to look for motion and ignore the rest of it. This one has got a much better grid. It's a much smaller grid, and it gives you a lot more control over zeroing in on exactly the area that you want to keep an eye on. So for example, in my front yard, I don't really care about the street. I don't really care about my front lawn. I care about the front steps. So I can zero in just on those steps and ignore everything else out there, so I'm not triggering every time a car goes by my house. I like that an awful lot. What they did in addition to that, though, was they improved person detection, because having motion detection on a particular area only eliminates the other areas, but if something blows through that area or a branch moves in that area, it's still going to trigger, and you're wasting a lot of battery power recording stuff that you don't really care about. The new generation, this one, if you have the cloud subscription, has person detection, can actually look with artificial intelligence at that section that you're looking at for motion and detect a person as opposed to detecting a branch or a leaf or a squirrel. So it's a lot smarter, which means less false triggers, which means less wasted energy, which is a good thing. So I like that an awful lot about the new one. One of the things they've improved as well is if you want to keep an eye on your driveway or your backyard, an important feature is field of view. And field of view is basically how wide can the camera watch? In other words, is it 90 degrees, 90 degrees? Is it 100 degrees, 110 degrees? This one has improved the field of view to be 143 degrees. So you're getting a really wide view of your backyard or your driveway. And that's important because the other cameras are really narrow field of view, which means you only get a little section of your yard or your garage driveway, and you've got to put multiple cameras up to cover that area. With this one at 143 degrees, you're getting pretty much the whole driveway or the whole backyard. So great job on that. And again, the last thing, which is small point, is the USB-C connection. I just like that an awful lot. So all those things being equal, I think what Blink has done with this latest Outdoor 4 is thought about how you're using the camera, how can they improve certain aspects of it that really matter to you as a consumer, and I think they've done a wonderful job at improving those features. So that's pretty much all I had for today. I think it's a great system. As I mentioned, I've used it for years. I like it a lot, and I've tested a lot of other home security systems, both battery powered and hardwired. For me, this is hands down the easiest one to install, and it just does everything I need it to do. So I like it a lot, and I think you're going to like it a lot as well. So until next time, I hope you found this valuable, and I've appreciated you watching, and I love doing these kind of reviews. So thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, as always, stay nerdy.